You guys need content, or you might die. Okay? To that end, I thought we would watch the Representative Mike Flood town hall. A town hall with a Republican, and this is in Lincoln, Nebraska. And I thought we'd have some fun. Let's see how well a Republican congressman does in Lincoln, Nebraska. I mean, clearly this must be like a conservative stronghold, right? Take a look.
There will be 2 question and answer options, and we'll alternate. There's an option to submit questions as you entered. The basket for questions is with Deb in the back or at the registration table. Deb, please, you raise your hand. Submit any remaining written questions to the basket during Congressman Flood's opening comments. If you haven't already,
I'm fascinated by this woman's fashion choices, and I have no more to say. I'm just fascinated by the choices.
So just make sure you get them to Deb. There will also be an option to ask questions at the microphone. Taylor will stand at the front of the room on the left, your left.
Just all of the pearls, all of the pearls being clutched around that neck, and the hairstyle from like 30 years ago. Like I'm not mad. I'm just kind of like, really owning it.
With the microphone, and Taylor will be standing right here.
Her fashion choices. I'm not straight. I don't know. I can't tell if this is lesbian fashion or if it is Nebraska straight. I don't know. It's one of the two, though.
We'll limit 30 seconds to help ensure we can get through as many people as possible. The microphone will go silent after 30 seconds. Taylor will have a timer that...
Look, I don't think she's bisexual. That's my hot take, all right?
He will keep for you. Written questions and questions from the microphone will be alternated every 3 questions. I will draw questions from the basket, and so with that, we'll get to the point of the program and start with Senator Ballard, who will deliver the invocation.
Wait a minute, this is important.
Start with Senator Ballard. So with that, we'll get to the point of the questions from the basket, and so with that, we'll get to the questions and questions from the microphone timer that he will keep for you. Written questions and questions from the microphone will be alternated every 3 questions. I will draw questions.
Damn it.
Questions from the basket, and so with that,
I can't tell if her nails are short. I can't tell.
We'll get to the point of the program
it's not
start
important.
With Senator Ballard, who will deliver the invocation.
Thank you. Thank you, Kim. Will you please bow your heads with me? Heavenly Father, we come before you with gratitude for the gift of freedom that we enjoy as Americans. We ask for
Okay. So, this is weird.
your blessing on this town hall, and that each of us will recognize the dignity that you placed in every one of us. Pray that you will guide our words and our actions and our dialogue. And we just thank you for Congressman Flood and his heart of service. We just pray this all in your heavenly name. Amen.
I unironically think this prayer at government function shit should be illegal. I mean, I agree. I find it very weird.
Good evening. Tom Duden with the Lincoln City Council. If you would, could you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
God, this should also be illegal. It's so weird. Also, with a name like Tom Duden, like it should be legally required to wear a backwards baseball cap, with a beer on either side and straws whirling down into his mouth.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice.
It was at this moment that they realized they were going to have a really bad time. What?
Hello, friends. My name is Jimmy Weber. It's an honor to see all you tonight.
Hi, Jimmy Weber. What are you doing?
God bless
What?
America.
Did he just say Mary come?
That I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. Sing it with me. If you
Why is he singing a love song about wanting to fuck America?
It's beautiful. To the prairie, to the oceans, white with foam. God bless America.
Oh my god, I live in Minnesota and I don't see shit like this. I don't see shit like this in the Midwest. I just this is some like you pull out the guitar to try and seduce like someone who thinks you're cool because they're, I don't know. Like, I feel like this is very on brand for Republicans as adults trying to get into children's pants. Like, I feel like this is the kind of song that they play while they're like getting ready to do Epstein shit. You know, I'm just throwing this out there. It's weird and gross.
My home, sweet home. God bless America.
Okay, WPG Squirrel, since you're not American, this is something that happens in America, but like, it's very, very fucking weird. Like, you're seeing other people in chat who are like, I live in Montana and we don't even have this shit. Like, this is some like next level, like they fed like MAGA pills to a country western singer and he like turned into this guy. Like, I don't know what is happening here, but it's bizarre.
My home, sweet home.
And like, I guess that would have been fine at like a roadside cafe in the middle of nowhere, but like at an actual town hall that is being done to like have the people be able to air their grievances, this is weird.
Well, good evening, Lincoln. Thank you very much for being here tonight. I want to thank Bo and Tom and Jimmy. Jimmy's had a long career in the United States Air Force.
Dude, does this guy have like an obscene amount of bronzer on his face? Is this guy like pulling a Donald Trump?
From the Bellevue
Or is it
area.
just bad lighting?
And I've seen and heard him perform before. He's been at the Final Four. He's performed
guys see
in
what I'm
Omaha
talking
all
about?
over the place. And it's an honor to have him here tonight. And it's an honor to have each of you here tonight. I know that many of you stood in line for a long time. I know that many of you have made this a point to be here. And here's the deal. And I said this before in Columbus, and I said it in Seward. And between Seward and Columbus, we've had well over 900 people come to these events. And tonight, my guess is we'll be at 750. I want to thank UNL for allowing us to be in the Kimball Recital Hall.
Nah, dude is wearing shit makeup. Look at that. You can see the sideways view. Look at that. You can see it. You can fucking see it.
Kimball Recital Hall. And the thing that I want to...
Dude has Trump juice all over his goddamn face.
impress upon you is no matter if we agree or we disagree, the fact that you're here tells me that you care. You care about your state, you care about this city, and you care about this nation. And so I want to show you the respect and I want to give you a short introduction to some of the things that I've been working on, and then I will take your questions.
I will talk at length about how I'm killing the poorest among you to feed the billionaires.
Will stay until 6:30 tonight. Actually, to be clear, 6:27. This is being broadcast, and we have a start cutoff at 6:27. So let's just get right into it. You know, I can't tell you enough how much I appreciate being here with you, and I will also tell you I hold myself to the standard of being accessible. I did a telephone town hall last week. I'm here tonight. If you have a question, every single person that calls into my office, I get a printout the next day. I read every single summary of every single call.
By the way, those summaries can be like one word to sum up an issue. Just as an FYI, it's not actually impressive.
Helps me do my job better. Sometimes I have the ability to call people back and say, hey, give me more information, or this looks like casework. Let's take care of you. Tonight, you're going to have that same opportunity. And if you do have something that requires the help of one of our staff members, Carter, can you wave your hand? He's around here. We've got Deb Shore, who's over here. She's the district director. We've got Monica's here. We'll get you directed over to them, and we'll take it from there, and we will follow up with you. I'm very pleased to say that every direct question that I've had from one of my town halls, I've been able to follow up directly and be able to solve whatever casework they had, or at least get them an answer. So with that, and I know this is probably going to be met with some resistance, I want the opportunity to tell you and talk to you about health care in the bill we just passed. I want to go right into this bill because I know this is something a lot of people have questions about, and quite frankly, from where I sit, there's been a lot of...
And quite frankly, I have prepared a 12-slide PowerPoint in order to frame it in the best possible light so that you guys don't try and kill me after this.
Misinformation out there about the bill. Okay, let's start here. The first thing, and for those watching tonight, and I know we have a television audience out there that's also wanting to hear answers to some of these questions. So in deference to them, please let me tell you why I voted the way I voted, and then we will take your questions, and you will have an opportunity to get answers. First thing, we have two separate programs. We've got Medicaid and we've got Medicare. There's a lot of people in this country that don't know the difference, and I'm not saying it for any reason, between Medicare and Medicaid. So let's review.
Fun fact, he's going to be like, we only cut Medicaid, we didn't cut Medicare, except, fun fact, they're going to try and cut Medicare.
This flood watch has become a flood warning.
Hey! Da-dun-ch. Saki Tanuki, thank you for the 2 tier 1 subs. But, guys, understand that part of what they are doing, part of the Republican plan for this bill was to pass this bullshit spending bill, right? And with the understanding that it massively spikes the deficit. So, what that can actually do is trigger cuts to Medicare. It is their backdoor deal to try and cut Medicare as well as Medicaid. To be fair to the singer, Republicans 100% want to fuck America. They just don't want America to come to be otherwise satisfied. Damn, Pluvius. Thank you for the $5 super chat.
With Medicare, it's available to people over the age of 65 for their health care, regardless of their income. This is a promise and a contract between you as an American and your country, and we did not make changes to the Medicaid.
Yeah, Somniostatic, I also forget what it's called. It's not rescissions. It's a different thing that is escaping my mind at the moment. Jobertus Maximus, no, the budget bill itself only cuts Medicaid, but due to the level of deficit spending that is in this bill, it triggers a different law that Republicans passed like 10 years ago that requires like Medicare to be balanced in the budget or something like that. And long story short, they're going to cut Medicare as well.
care program. So if you're watching this, and let's say you're 78 years old and you hear Medicare, you need to know you will not see any changes. And the reason I think this is important, and this is because I know there are questions about Medicaid, and we're going to get to those. But there are a lot of very good people of advanced age that hear some of the rhetoric about the bill, whether it's true or not, and they think it's going to take their health care, and they're 78 years old, they're on Medicare, and if you're watching tonight and you get Medicare, you do not have to worry about changes to your program. Okay? So let's go to the next slide. Here's the other thing that you have to know, and I cannot take credit for this. Your governor, Jim Pillen, and your legislature.
It's PAYGO. It's PAYGO. Back in 2010, Republicans passed a measure called the Statutory Pay-As-You-Go Act of 2010, which basically means that if the deficit spikes to a certain level, then the 2010 Act gets activated and cuts are made to Medicare.
Your governor and your legislature, I think you're going to like what I'm about to say. They passed a bill to get Nebraska's hospitals $700 million in Medicaid funding in the coming fiscal year.
Wow, a whole $700 million? Hey, I wonder how much it costs to run your run-of-the-mill rural hospital.
As your congressman, I worked to help get the CMS application approved by CMS, Center for Medicaid and Medicare, and it was approved in June before the big beautiful bill was passed. What does this mean? What does this mean? This means that St. Elizabeth's is going to get an additional $24 million next year, and that money is not tied to fees for service. It means the Norfolk Hospital is going to get $10 million. It means that the...
Wow, all that money! Surely that will make up for all of the money they're not getting from Medicaid patients. You see, part of the issue here is that, like, you're talking about, like, a handful of $1 million, right, going to these rural hospitals. And the issue is they aren't going to have money to pay for those, like, patients. The patients who are no longer going to have Medicaid aren't going to be able to go to those hospitals. It's a big problem. And so what ends up happening is like, oh, no, don't worry. We'll spend the money to make sure the hospitals remain open. Even if you grant that those hospitals remain open, they don't make any money because no one is going to the hospital with coverage anymore because everyone got kicked off of Medicaid or Medicare. That's how this works. And so that's why you're seeing right now rural hospitals closing. Because they have crunched the numbers and they know that if they continue to operate under this particular Republican budget, they aren't going to make any money. So they are closing now. Even if you have like a pittance to throw at them, $700 million, that's not enough to keep them open when they don't make money.
West Point Hospital is going to get $3.5 million. So when you talk about Medicaid, I can tell you, we're going to see an influx of money into Nebraska hospitals. The other thing I want to share is that,
I mean, like, if Republicans keep doing what they're doing on the national level and keep showing up at these, like, I would say that there is a good chance some people might start getting violent.
The GOP knows they are fucked. That's why they are trying to spin this bill.
I mean, they do know that they're fucked. They're trying to spin it because they're hoping that enough dupes will buy their bullshit that they'll be able to hold on to the midterms. That's it. That's the only reason. Also, Story the Bard, thank you for the $20 dono. Very appreciated. Yeah, we'll talk about the redistricting stuff on a new day, but suffice to say, I've been pleasantly surprised with the backbone from Democrats.
The other thing I want to share is there was talk about a medical clinic in Curtis closing. First of all, it was not a hospital. Second of all, it had 4 patients a day. And third of all, the bill had not even been signed yet, and any changes don't apply until 2027. The other thing that the big, beautiful bill did, the only way we're going to get through tonight is if I get a chance to tell you why I voted, because ultimately I represent you, and you will...
Ultimately, I need to run out the clock, because if I don't, you guys are going to get so fucking mad
Much
at me.
like the Nazis, they're trying desperately to Polish this turd.
Oh, God, they're trying. They trying. Sake Tanuki, they for the 2 tier 1 subs.
Have your say.
If I don't filibuster this town hall, you guys might ask me some really, really inconvenient questions, so I need to minimize the amount of time you guys get to talk by doing my 25 slide PowerPoint.
Okay. The other thing that we worked on very hard, and something that I personally invested a lot of time into, was making sure we could get a $50 billion fund, a $50 billion fund for rural hospitals. $50 billion. Places like Scotts Bluff and David City and Falls City and Pawnee City. I am planning to bring...
Yeah, and we all know that the reason you needed to provide additional funding for those hospitals was because they're all so profitable and all, you know, they're constantly seeing so many patients with private health insurance that aren't going to be affected by this. All they needed was the extra money to stay open. Right? Nah. This is a band-aid for a gushing amputation.
CMS officials to Lincoln, to Nebraska.
Yeah, no, that guy is chanting Free Palestine.
So that our Nebraska hospitals can tell them about some of the challenges that we do have. The next slide talks about the 2 big...
Yeah, I mean, like, guys, the idea that, like, Gaza, the genocide that is unfolding in Gaza is at all limited to, like, you know, the coasts. Like, nah, this issue has permeated the entirety of the interior of the country as well. Like, there is not one corner of this country where people don't know what's going on in Gaza. Keep making noise.
Big changes. The next slide talks about 2 big changes to the Medicaid program. One of those changes is that if you are able to work and you are able-bodied, you have to work. If you choose not to work, you do not get free health care. You do not get free health care. Okay.
Whoa, wait, I really thought that was going to go over a bit different here. I really thought, okay, let me hit you with some facts, some truth.
Gaza was never on Epstein's list.
That is very true, Sake Tanuki. Thank you for the 2 tier 1 subs.
So here's a question. Do you think that people who are 28 years old that can work and refuse to work should get free health care?
Hell yeah.
I don't think that a majority of Nebraskans agree with you.
Yeah, all of the Nebraskans who didn't show up agree with me. Sure, we might have 1,000 people here, but I'm sure I can imagine someone else in the state agreeing with me. By the way, they all say yes because they know that that's a bullshit question. On the one hand, most people who are going to be affected by losing their health insurance are not 28 and able-bodied. And number 2, yeah, people do think someone who's 28 and able-bodied, even if they don't have a job, should be able to have health care.
The other thing that I think is important to remember is that any change...
Ooh, Dakota Cat, please record the town halls as well, because some of these town halls don't have, like, official cameras there. So if you can record it, please do, and shoot us a recording, if you're at all able, of course. I'm sure we would love to see more Republican congresspeople squirm.
Changes we make to the Medicaid program does not involve anybody that's disabled, that is of senior age and unable to work, anybody that is pregnant, or the vulnerable. Those are important things to know. The other thing in the bill that I think you need to know is if we didn't pass the big beautiful bill, it would have been a $1,600 tax increase to every Nebraska family. That is a true middle-class tax cut. Next slide, please. These are the other important parts of the One Big Beautiful.
Yo, they are just getting more and more angry out there. Like, damn, dude.
Beautiful bill. Next slide, please.
Oh, they're chanting tax the rich in response to a middle-class tax cut in Nebraska. We are 14 minutes in. There's over an hour of this left. Over an hour of this left, and they're already chanting tax the rich in response to this guy telling them they're gonna get a tax cut. This is, like, I'm sorry. I need to tell you guys something. Some real talk. Democrats aren't, like the Democratic Party, to whatever extent they are organizing in a place like Nebraska, is not being organized by party money. You know, the party isn't flooding Nebraska with sweet donor dollars, you know, in order to, like, give rise to this type of appearance at these town halls. No, this is being organized by people on the ground in Nebraska who give a damn, who are seeing what's happening, and they're angry as hell, just like all of you are, you know? They're showing up at their local, like, Democratic meetings, mad as hell, asking, okay, what can I do? How can I help? They're showing up at their local DSA meetings and saying, what can I do? How can I help? And guys, if we do that everywhere, if we do that, if I do it, if you guys do it, everywhere, we will win. If you guys need help connecting with your local Democratic Party, you can join our Discord. Just use !Discord. You'll get a link. Join the Discord. Reach out to Dragonfly on the Discord, and she will help you connect with your local Dems. If you want to reach out and connect with your local DSA, or form a new DSA branch, you can join our Discord. Again, just !Discord in any of the chats, and you can reach out to GamerG in the Discord, and she will help you to either start your own branch of DSA or join an existing one, because we've actually been doing that a lot here in this community. So please,
We will win.
Start
Chuck
doing
Schumer
stuff.
flashbacks intensify.
No, but we will actually win. If you guys step up and you start getting into this fight too, we will, in fact, actually win. Let 1,000 Zoran Mamdanis bloom.
No taxes on overtime. We've had this conversation before. As I recall, and we shared this in Columbus, if we adopted the Democrats' plan to tax the rich, if we adopted the Democrats' plan in the last Congress to tax the rich, it would generate $50 billion, which does not take us close to where we're going, and it cuts job creation. It cuts.
What a little dipshit. Well, actually, a lot of CEOs and wealthy people don't get paid in like an income. They don't actually pay that much income tax. So you are actually all stupid, and I'm very smart. As if there aren't other ways to tax the wealthy, like, say, I don't know, some kind of stock trading tax, like some kind of wealth tax, even. Yeah, you shift up how you tax capital gains. Like you start taxing in other ways where the wealthy keep their wealth. And it's not in dollars.
If what he said
In
was
safes.
true, it just proves the Dems aren't going anywhere close to hard enough on the rich.
Right? All it goes to show is that they're moving it someplace else.
Business creation. It cuts the ability for employers to invest in their businesses.
Oh man, he knows how bad this is going. This is great.
The other thing that I think is important, obviously, increase the standard deduction, child tax credit, and one of the things that I know Lincoln and the city of Lincoln is working very hard on, especially Mayor Larian. Sir, I get that you want to have this conversation with me, but there's a lot of people here that waited in line that want to hear the answers.
Sir, have you no decency, sir?
All right, next slide. Something that I also think is important, if you're a farmer or rancher in this state, you want to be able to pass your farm on to the next generation, and that means you can't.
We gotta get rid of that death tax, because clearly it's just for farmers. Don't pay any attention to what getting rid of the death tax might do to the wealthiest people in society. Just think about the poor, defenseless farmers.
Sometimes pass the farm on to the next generation without paying a massive tax. So we upped this federal state tax exemption. And by the way, there's a lot of farmers in this state that don't have a lot of cash in the bank, but they've got a lot of land that they will never, ever, ever sell, because that land is their family. That land is their family, and we protected that. And that
Companies are people. Land is family. Cool.
matters in Nebraska. And the last thing that I want to say, we increased
Money is speech. Land is family.
the safety net for farmers at $59 billion. And finally,
How common are $5 million farm estates?
I mean, why? I imagine they're very common. Like, you can't walk down a street without meeting someone with a $5 million farm estate. Why, practically every homeless person has one. So this will benefit everyone in society.
an additional $2.7 billion for disaster assistance.
Maybe our real families.
Those are the things that I wanted to share with you as to why I voted for the One Big Beautiful Bill. I truly believe that this bill will allow America to experience growth, that it will allow our communities to thrive, that it will spark our economy, that it will help farmers and ranchers, that it will take care of the vulnerable, and more than anything, I truly believe this bill protects Medicaid for the future.
This man, oh my god. If you told me they were building like a hangman's noose outside of this event, I would not be surprised, given the reactions that are happening.
We protected Medicaid. We protected Medicaid. Nebraska hospitals now have the money to be able to operate, whether it's David City or West Point or Lincoln or Omaha. And I'm here tonight to tell you that's why I voted for that bill. All right. With that, Kim, let's go ahead and take questions.
Okay.
And here's what I would say. I totally understand that you may disagree with what I'm saying, but if somebody has a question, let's let them ask the question without interrupting them. Because they are standing in line, they're here to get an answer, and we will do it.
Okay, so we'll start here with the questions. Congressman, we'll start here with the first question.
Okay.
All right.
I need you to be calm for just a second. I need to be able to hear the question. So.
Okay, first question. How could you vote for the big, beautiful bill knowing that it would increase the national debt by $3 to $4 trillion? And then please don't say that economic growth will cover it.
Well, the reality is we need to increase our GDP in order to get out of the mess we're in with the debt.
I love that the question was very specifically about, without mentioning economic growth, and that the very first thing he mentioned was economic growth, because that is the bedrock of how they justified that budget bill.
So we cut almost $2 trillion out of federal spending, plus the extension of the tax cuts, plus the no tax on tips. So let's go back to President Obama in 2012. You're going to agree with me when I'm done.
Doubt it.
Back in 2012, President Obama extended the Bush tax cuts. And the CBO baseline score was calculating the tax cuts going away, and the Obama White House said, no, we disagree.
By the way, everything he's saying here is going to be a lie, because ultimately the reason that the amount of taxes would go up is because the last time Donald Trump was president, he gave trillions of dollars to the wealthiest people in the country. This newest budget bill was to make permanent those cuts and those handouts to the wealthy. This has nothing to do with Obama, and it has everything to do with the economy and the method of taxation that has been codified by Republicans in Congress. Like, again, they had one bite at the apple during Trump 1, and they took that bite. It was huge. Now they had a chance for a second bite at the apple, and they just ate the whole goddamn apple in one gulp.
With that. So many of you that are in the Democratic Party have to look at how consistent we are and where we're at with the CBO. And the reality is, when President Trump passed the 2017 tax cuts, we saw explosive growth in this country.
We did not, in fact, see explosive growth in this country. That is just a lie. The Trump tax cuts have been actually, analyzed for their economic effects, and it turns out they did not, in fact, lead to massive economic growth. They didn't even lead to marginal economic growth.
Have you considered that Obama isn't in the Epstein files?
I do need to hold that idea in the back of my mind, Sake Tanuki, because at some point covering all this Epstein stuff, there's going to be a MAGA guy that comes into my mentions, comes into my comments, and I really do need to pull that out. I really do need to pull that out, because it absolutely kills them that, Bill Clinton is in the Epstein files, but not Obama. It kills them.
We saw explosive growth. COVID slowed our progress for obvious reasons. But the way CBO is scoring this was objected to President Obama in 2012, and it's being objected to by President Trump and the United States Congress Republicans in 2025.
Next question. Okay. Why did you cut SNAP and healthcare research?
Yeah, why you starving children, you filthy motherfucker? Why? Why you starving kids? Why you trying to get more people to die from cancer? What's wrong with you?
We do not have unlimited money in the United States.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Look, look, you guys have to face the harsh reality, all right? We need to spend trillions of dollars on these fighter planes, and if your kid needs food, fuck your kid. I mean, as a Republican, oh boy, that phrasing came out really wrong. Oh boy. Oh geez, he just starts sweating bullets.
In 2019, our country spent $60 billion on SNAP.
Wait a minute. Representative Mike Flood, did you or did you not just say that if we tax the rich more, we could get something along the lines of, even on your shitty metric, $50 billion? Seems to me that you could pay almost all of that SNAP budget by just taxing the wealthy. That's so strange. That seems like a good trade-off to me.
COVID, that number went to $100 billion.
Just out of curiosity, by spending that $60 billion and getting children fed and, like, you know, does that not eventually pay off for us by having, you know, healthy adults that can contribute to the labor force? I don't know. Something to think about.
And for good reason. I mean, during COVID, we had a situation where we had a worldwide pandemic.
It was a snap decision.
Dun Sake Tanuki. God damn.
We had people that couldn't work. There was a need for extra food, supplemental nutrition programs. What we did, this Congress, two things. We returned our spending on SNAP to our pre-pandemic level of 2019 at $60 billion. And we also...
Hey, just as an FYI, we actually looked at that and, I don't know, paid 50% more. It's feasible that we could all but eliminate the amount of, like, child hunger and homelessness that happens in this country all too often. And instead of making a proactive case for that, his response is, you know, money doesn't, you know, we don't have all the money here in America. Like, damn, dude. Fuck off.
Also said to states that have low error rates, and Nebraska has low error rates, that there's going to be incentive for states that do it right, and there's going to be a disincentive for states that have a high error rate. Now, you may disagree with the actual number we arrived at, but going from 60 billion one year to 100 billion the next year, that was the COVID pandemic. The pandemic is gone. People have gone back to work. We are now at the 2019 levels.
I mean, it's not gone. People are still getting COVID.
Which I think are acceptable. Next question.
Okay. And what is the national debt ceiling limit? And what is the current national debt?
Our current national debt is approaching $37 trillion. $37 trillion. In fact, to make that real for all of you, every Nebraska family pays about $3,000 of your hard-earned wages every year to service that debt. That's a kitchen table issue. That is a kitchen table issue. Every
This has
single
the same feel of the Colbert joke. They say this show costs $40 million a year, but it costs only $24 million. Where's the $16 million go?
Indeed. So strange, Sake Tanuki. Who can say? Thank you for the 2 tier 1 subs.
Nebraska family pays $3,000 to service the debt.
Okay, we'll go to the audience for their first questions.
Okay, let's let her speak here, please.
All right.
I really wanted him to talk a little bit about what the debt limit is, like the debt ceiling, because I think if we, whatever. I was interested to hear that, and he just simplified it down to debt adds to your tax bill.
Our first question comes from this fine lady.
Hi.
She
I
looks nice.
implore you to be quiet so that we can hear his responses. Remember, Mike's coming up for a re-election, and we'd really like to know what his responses are.
Damn, talking about kitchen table issues, and then this lady comes out with her goddamn knife sharpener right off the bat. Damn! The sinister energy. She about to go to town on this man with a goddamn butcher knife. Holy shit. Like, she doesn't even need to ask a question. Oh my god.
I'm Rosina. I write you emails with concerns of your voting behavior regarding Trump and his actions. You support him, especially confirming the cabinet. Your responses are riddled with misinformation and lies. I fact check you, and then I send the responses back. And I get crickets. So I actually asked Deb through Carter, thank you, Carter, for answering the phone and being so very patient.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Somniostatic, you weren't kidding. This is a stage 1 boss Karen situation. Like, she's gotten to know the staffers' names. She knows the hierarchy in this man's office. She has meticulously researched every aspect of what is happening in that office because she's been writing corrections to this man and he has not taken her seriously. Let's go.
I asked, who does the oversight for the fact checking? Well, Deb Shore does. Deb Shore's a good human. I've known her for a long time. But our oversight of these emails need to be fact checked. If I am fact checking them because they are wrong in your response, I send them back to you and I get crickets, I get kind of bummed. And this is not about partisan, this is about issues, because we're about to lose our democracy.
Well, first of all,
holy shit! They've been weaponizing Karens in the democracy labs. I didn't know. Get that bitch a clipboard. She's gonna be running running the country next year.
I would tell you, I totally agree with you. Carter Smith from Shelby is a wonderful person. And Deb Shore does a lot of things in the office, but I don't want to put that all on her. There are people in my Washington office that also assist me as I write back to you. I don't know what emails you sent specifically because
there are plenty of them.
I'm sure. And here's what I would say to you. You are right as a constituent to want to go through this with me, and I will, with your help, talk to Deb. We will go through your emails, and we will go through my responses. You can come to my office, and we will sit down and go through every one of them. It may take me about 2 weeks,
Sir?
because I need to get all that done, okay?
Sir, you will need to do that with a lot of people.
Well, here's the deal.
Holy shit. Oh, dog. Dog, when you have pissed off this type of person, like, I don't know how much time you have left on this earth.
You came tonight, you asked me a question, I'm willing to do it with you, because you matter, I represent you, I'm happy to sit down with you. I will add one thing, the United States House of Representatives does not confirm the cabinet. That belongs in the U.S. Senate, just for clarity, okay? Thank you very much for being here. Connect with Deb. I'm happy to sit down with you.
While you were partying on St. James, the first was studying both
Congressman
pen and
Flood,
sword.
I come from 11 generations
Jazz Time, thank you for the $5 dono.
of military citizens who have served this nation.
Okay, I'm genuinely curious. We have an hour of this left. How many of these questions are going to be at all remotely friendly? Because my initial assumption is going to be that lady who opened us up is going to be the friendliest he gets.
I've seen the long-term effects of service on veterans' health and on well-being. This budget reconciliation bill that you support threatens to cut
all of our benefits and support programs that go along with that. How can you stand behind this bill that erodes the very services that people like me, my family, our families, and younger vets coming home today rely on to live decent, healthy lives?
Well, first of all, thank you for your service to the country, and thank you to the generations of service to the country.
Please,
at my first town hall, I had the opportunity to... At the first town hall, the main issue that I took away from that was concerns about veterans' benefits, not only in the proposed bill, but just with the new secretary coming in. I met personally with the Veterans Secretary. We went over everything, and I will tell you, our Veterans Affairs are going to be better than they've been in a long time under this president.
Look, the secret all along was to give veterans less resources to handle their health problems. It's crazy. The solution was staring us in the face the entire time. Less resources somehow equals better treatment. You all understand, right?
The secretary, we sat down for the better part of an hour, and I would have to get my notes from that meeting, but I asked a lot of questions that came from that Columbus town hall. And when the time is right, and I have that in front of me, I will go through that. But I truly believe that number one, our veterans served our country. They were made a promise that we will provide their health care. I have a record of supporting, as a member of the legislature, our state.
Nah, in the eyes of dudes like this, veterans have served their purpose and they can fuck off. Like, genuinely, in the eyes of people like this guy, like, the thank you for your service is just pablum. It doesn't mean anything coming from this clown.
Veterans homes, and
like, I'm sorry, you can't say thank you for your service while simultaneously, like, screwing someone over. Like, it doesn't work that well. Like, you can't do that.
A record in our Congress of supporting veterans, and I will be happy to get more information from the secretary. If you have specific programs...
Jazz Dog, are all his answers going to be that's cool, but I literally don't have the Library of Alexandria in front of me? I mean, I think he's going to try and plead ignorance on an awful lot of these. But I mean, it should be pretty disturbing that this guy has no idea seemingly what he voted for. Pretty disqualifying.
You're concerned about, please reach out to Taylor and get us that information. Thank you.
We have a next question right here.
My question is fiscal. With $450 million FEMA dollars being reallocated to open Alligator Alcatraz and $600 million taxpayer FEMA dollars being used to now open more concentration camps and ICE burning through $8.4 million a day to illegally detain people, how much does it cost for fascism? How much do the taxpayers have to pay for a fascist country?
Also, can we just go back here? I want you all to first of all, is she wearing a Willy Wonka shirt? Is that what the top hats and the W's are? Beside the point. But there are so many people in middle America just like this woman. And the fact that he and the Republican Party have lost this type of person, I mean, keep fighting, folks. Keep fighting, keep being loud, keep showing up, keep acting. You know, show up at your local Dem meetings, show up at your local, like, DSA meetings, make your communities better so that you can coordinate for town halls like this one. The more people you can get together, the better your showing at town halls will be, and the more powerful and the more things you can do in your local community. But, like, damn, let's organize these folks. Let's go! I'm feeling pumped.
Fascist country!
To a room full of cheers.
Americans went to the polls in November, and they had a choice between a Democratic candidate that had an open border, no enforcement, fentanyl, drugs, human trafficking. And they had a choice between that and a candidate that said, close the border, get illegal immigrants out of our country, stop the fentanyl, stop the human trafficking, stop the drugs, stop the crime.
I don't think this guy realizes the danger. I mean, I think he's starting to.
Stop the violence. That's what Americans voted for. Americans voted for a border.
Yeah, look, Nebraska is being really impacted by all of the people coming out of the border out of Mexico. It's really impacting Nebraska a lot somehow.
That is secure. And I support the president enforcing.
Yeah, again, we need to bring back Rotten Tomatoes at events like this. Okay? Look, I'm just throwing this out there, much like a Rotten Tomato. But like that was a good tradition we had going.
Our immigration laws, which by the way were written by Congress.
Okay. Next question. So how can you justify taking health care away from 78,000 Nebraskans?
Look, all I'm saying is if you're a tomato farmer, you could make a lot of money selling at a stand outside of town halls. Holy shit.
As I explained before, when you have an additional $700 million coming into the state of Nebraska.
Wait, I'm sorry, did he say immigration?
Enforcing our immigration laws, which by...
Oh, Doug, he is not okay. There's an hour more of this. Okay, full disclosure, I saw this particular clip earlier. I assumed this was towards the end of the end of this event. There's an hour left.
By the way, were written by Congress.
Okay. Next question. So how can you justify taking health care away from 78,000 Nebraskans?
Oh.
As I explained before, when you have an additional $700 million coming into the state of Nebraska for Nebraska hospitals, we have a state where our infrastructure is going to be supported, is going to be funded, and is going to be available for the people that need it. If you are able to work and you're 28 years old and you choose not to work, you don't get free health care in America.
It kind of seems like people don't like that. Kind of seems like people think that healthcare is a human right. Because it is.
If you are in this country illegally, you do not get free health care in America.
I'm okay. Genuinely, I am shocked. I am shocked that we're seeing like an audience of Nebraskans booing undocumented immigrants not getting health care. That's wonderful. That is a wonderful development. Because undocumented immigrants should get health care.
Okay, next question is economic development depends on energy development. The fastest, cheapest resources to bring online are wind, solar, and storage. Plus, we can produce it right here in Nebraska. What are you doing to promote our clean energy industry?
Good question. I think that's a great question.
Great question, everybody. I screwed you all over. That is how I'm doing it. I'm screwing you over, and presuming all of you are over the age of 18. Tough crowd.
I believe in an all-of-the-above strategy for energy, which means nuclear as well.
I'm sorry. What? I'm sorry. Am I high right now? Am I high right now?
Nuclear.
Huh.
Nuclear. Nuclear. Nuclear.
For energy, which means nuclear as well.
I don't think that this man is very good at saying things or using words.
I agree with nuclear. As I'm from a part of the state where we have a lot of wind-generated power.
Nuclear.
I'm from a part of the state where we have solar power. There has to be a balance. And in our state, we have to make sure, and I love the battery storage idea. I think when battery storage becomes relevant and it works and it's there for Nebraskans, well, the technology isn't to the point where it can be used all the time, but
It is, actually.
here's the challenge. With artificial intelligence coming on the scene,
Okay. Well, you guys all love those lying machines that lie to you all the time, right? We need to have the coal plants in order to fuel the artificial intelligence machines that make your life worse in every conceivable way.
it's going to take a lot more energy for us to meet our energy needs to be able to remain competitive.
I still haven't seen a compelling use case for any of this technology that they're talking when they talk about AI. I haven't seen one compelling use case.
With artificial intelligence. China is bringing on a whole bunch of new energy using coal. Now, I'm not saying that's necessarily going to happen in America, but I'm saying we have to up our energy game. We have to up our energy game, which means small nuclear reactors, which I've been supportive since I've been in the legislature, permitting nuclear power plants, which has been very difficult. Wind and solar is always part of that.
Also, they're small nuclear reactors. I think he's talking about modular reactor tech, which is kind of neat.
Array of opportunity, and not shutting down our coal plants when they provide consistent baseload generation of power all the time. So
you better believe I'm paying attention to the incline of his arm as he makes these sweeping gestures. You better believe I'm paying attention to that.
I think that's a very good question. And as Americans, what we need to do is we need to pick an energy policy. We need to put it in the statutes, in the code, so that industry, energy providers can count on that stability so that they can make long-term investments. The way it's gone from President Obama, he had to President Trump, to President Biden, there's been a regulatory whiplash every 4 years. Right or wrong, I'm just saying, energy providers aren't willing to make an investment when there's wild changes all the time.
Next question.
Okay, true, Salmon Moose. There are some possible use cases, but so many of the use cases are made so shitty by corporations. And the fact that this is now it is not worth the material water loss or the energy loss that we're pouring into it. At least not right now, and I don't see it being able to justify that in the near future.
Nuclear.
Okay, next question. Why are you covering up the Epstein files?
Oh! Looks like we have a nuclear question.
Nuclear.
Let's be very clear.
That's right, sir. Do you know how old the people you text are? What is the age of consent law in every state you operate in? Do you know? If you know too quickly, we'll know you're a creep.
At the next pro forma session of the Congress, you'll find my name as a sponsor on a resolution from the House Rules Committee to release the Epstein files to protect the victims and not re-victimize them again. I support Jamie Comer, who is the House's Oversight Committee Chairman, subpoenaing Ms. Maxwell later this month to come testify in Washington. I am for the release of those records.
Huzzah!
We have a question right here.
So my comments are about the debt and how we can fix our debt. So tax U.S. stock trades, raise the Social Security cap to $400,000 and the Medicare rate.
Nah,
$200,000.
Nah, dog, you were almost cooking there. Okay, don't raise it to $400,000. Eliminate the cap on Social Security. You don't need to have this fight over and over and over again. Just have billionaires pay the same rate as the rest of us. Why should someone who is rich pay a lower rate than someone who is poor when it comes to Social Security? Doesn't make sense. Get rid of the cap.
Eliminate corporate subsidies, especially for the military industrial complex.
Let's go.
Appropriately staff the IRS so they can target rich tax cheats.
Yes.
Ignore the Gover Norquist contract that you signed and raise taxes on the rich. Broaden the tax base by closing loopholes, the carried interest offshore tax havens, and adjust rates on high earners. And there's more, but...
That's quite the Christmas list. You got a lot of stuff.
Can you explain why the Epstein files have to be censored? Well, I assume because some of the material in the files might include, like, child abuse. I'm going to use a very diplomatic term here. That might need to be censored out. And details about victims that would need to be censored out.
Tell the truth. No cap.
Indeed, Sake Tanuki. Thank you for the 2 tier 1 subs. Appreciate it. Yeah, you redact the NSFW imagery, redact names of the victims, etc., or identifying information for the victims. But otherwise, like, nothing else, I think, needs to be redacted. Well, TI, yeah. The same reason they don't release, like, crime scene photos of, like, a murdered body. You know, like, the same reason they don't release that is one of the same reasons they wouldn't release, like, actual photographs of child sexual abuse. Like, yeah, on the one hand, one, you don't want to release child pornography. And number 2, you don't want to release information that could be used to track down the victims and intimidate them and prevent them from testifying, for example, or harass them, threaten them, etc. So those are 2 pretty reasonable grounds for why one would censor those things from any publicly released data.
On there. I will receive that as input. I don't exactly know where I'd even start answering that question other than we cut next to $2 trillion of federal spending with the bill we passed, and we protected Medicaid.
Next question.
Question right here.
There's a saying that silence is complicity. Your silence tells us that you have no problem with the January 6th attack on the Capitol, the pardoning of all those involved, the big lie about the 2020 election with absolutely no evidence. These are all markers. These are markers of fascism. I have read a dozen or so books on authoritarianism and fascism. You said in Seward that you were not a fascist. Your complicity says otherwise. Have you Have you ever spoken out against this administration and its Project 2025, which is a fascist machine? Have you ever spoken out? There are a number of people, it's been reported many times in the news that there are a number of our colleagues, Republican colleagues, who do not like this man and they speak against him behind closed doors in private. Maybe you're one of them. There is a thing, profiles encourage. Why don't any of you, because you know better, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you?
Sir, I want to be very clear with you.
Oh man, we have another 50 minutes of this. I hope they make him cry.
Give me a chance to answer his question, I'd be happy
to. Look at his feeble attempt to smile. Damn, dude. You bombing so hard.
Nuclear.
Bombing.
Fascists don't hold town halls with open question and answer series.
Yeah, a fascist would never do that. No, sir.
And I will tell you this, I support law enforcement, and what happened on January 6, 2021 was not right, and I'm on the record saying so. I'm sure you can Google it, but I support law enforcement. I have prided myself on supporting law enforcement since I began as a member of the Judiciary Committee in 2005, and we started working on child sexual assault. We started working on the sex offender registry. We started working on all of these different DWI laws to make our streets safer. I believe in law enforcement. I believe in the rule of law. I believe in the rule of law. It matters to me. We have a lot of people that need to know when I see something that I don't agree with, I don't run to the TV station as my first stop. I try to stop it before it gets worse.
Just as an FYI, Hitler did a ton of Q&As and did a ton of like public events and demonstrations. Now, usually he rigged them in his favor because if he didn't, they would turn out like this. Just a thought.
I try to stand up and go to work to represent the people that I have in this district. And sir, I believe in law enforcement. Thank you.
Next question.
All right, we have another question right here.
I believe in fair taxation, but I disagree with personally benefiting at the expense of lower-income Nebraska citizens. Trump is a pathological liar, and citizens can't believe a word that comes from the convicted felon's mouth. Keeping Nebraska in mind, what actions are you going to support or initiate that will provide health care and food assistance for low-income families, protect Medicare, not increase the national debt, unmask the ICE terrorists, close alligator Auschwitz, and impeach Trump if he pardons Ghislaine Maxwell?
We protected Medicaid and saved taxpayers millions of dollars from waste.
Does not believing in ICE and law enforcement make them disappear?
God, I wish. Sake Tanuki. Thank you for the 2 tier 1 subs. Also, we protected Medicaid. We protected all of you we protected you from getting that horrible, awful Medicaid. We protected millions of you from being able to use that awful, soul-corrupting Medicaid.
Fraud and abuse.
And now you're free to die on your own terms, like a real man.
This program, over the long term, will spend way too much money that we cannot afford if we don't protect it for those that need it. There are vulnerable people that need Medicaid. There are pregnant women that need Medicaid.
We're gonna make sure that fewer of them get it. That's my promise to you.
There are folks that need to be in a nursing home that need Medicaid. We need to figure out how to keep more people in their home receiving care because we can't afford everybody going to the nursing home. So, sir, we, in my opinion, as your representative, with the $700 million coming into the state, the $50 billion rural hospital fund that we worked on, and the common sense protections of requiring people to work if they want free health care, and no illegal immigrants getting health care for free, I think that's entirely reasonable.
I want someone to point out that the additional money coming into the state doesn't mean diddly shit when you're cutting off the main income for those hospitals. Like, the hospitals aren't going to stay open when they aren't making money. They're private hospitals. They are not publicly owned and operated hospitals.
Okay, next question. How are farmers supposed to survive as a result of this budget bill?
Damn,
could you repeat that?
Yes. How are farmers supposed to survive as a result of this budget bill?
Well, I'll tell you what. I actually have this number right here. We actually, and it was in one of my slides, 1 year ago, almost to this day, we were at the State Chamber fly-in, and I was the first in our congressional delegation to sound the alarm about the farm economy. I've been talking to community bankers across this state that are worried that a lot of our producers, with corn at $3.80 a bushel and soybeans down from what they should be and higher inputs, are going to have trouble making their payments. And I started to talking to local bankers about what this year's operational notes renewal would be. We made it. We made it through that. Actually, that's not true. I'll talk to you about that in a second. In December,
tariffs are actually doing you all a favor by making you sell less. Other countries don't want to buy from you, and it's helping you somehow.
we provided $10 billion in economic aid to America's farmers, mostly for the American Southeast, Georgia, Mississippi, those states. I tell you what, though, I am worried about next year for our farmers and ranchers. I am worried about it. And let me tell you a couple of things that we did do. We put a $59 billion increase for the ag safety net programs, which is a $9 billion increase over the prior fiscal year. And you're not going to like this next part, some of you, but President Biden did no trade deals in 4 years. He did not stand up for Nebraska farmers when it came to white corn and the ban from the Mexican president's wife.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and guess that maybe Mexico didn't need corn, because it's Mexico. Why would you need to make this? This is the same. This is the Australian beef thing all over again. They don't want to buy our beef because they have their own beef already.
Farmers and ranchers in this state are going to get a far better deal from Donald Trump's trade negotiations than we ever got under President Biden. And this is the only way to improve our chances to grow our farm income.
Okay, next question. Okay, next question is, what specific action are you taking to defund or continued support to Israel and their aggressions on the West Bank and genocide against Palestinians living in Gaza?
Do you seriously not know how to say genocide? Genocide?
I have said from the start, what happened on October 8th was an abomination. Well, October 7th, sorry.
Oh man! All right, I was almost like this. This is an interesting response. Wasn't expecting.
I support Israel. America has no better ally than Israel, and they have every right to root out Hamas and these evil terrorists, whether they're in Gaza, whether it's Hezbollah, whether it's the Houthis, whether it's the Iranians. They live under threat of...
Hey, out of curiosity, the Proud Boys have been designated terrorists by several other countries. Does that give Canada the right to bomb Proud Boy locations in the United States? Just out of curiosity. Does that give Canada the right to bomb American soil? I'm gonna guess this guy would say no. Weird. I want people to interview these fuckers and ask follow-up questions.
Nuclear and vicious attack every single day.
Wait.
Vicious attack every... Iranians. They live under threat of nuclear and vicious attack every single day.
Nuclear.
Israel has a nuclear weapon. Iran doesn't. What are you talking about?
I also believe that our country, working with Israel, needs to do everything we can to get those children food. No American wants any child.
You literally just justified the last 3 years of starving Palestinian children. You literally just spent this last minute or two justifying dropping bombs on areas predominantly inhabited by children. Fuck you.
No matter the place they live, to ever suffer. But you got
literally voted to defund SNAP. True, Jazz Dog. This guy doesn't give a shit about kids, unless they're kids that Donald Trump may or may not have abused, in which case he's very much in favor of covering that up.
Remember, we're dealing with Hamas. They use these Palestinians as human shields in their pursuit of terror and destruction.
And that is why you know that in every action movie, the hero just needs to kill the human shields. You know, you all have seen an action movie. Who can forget that scene in Die Hard where, you know, John McClane just kills civilians that have been taken hostage by the terrorists? You know, who can forget that epic moment where John McClane takes out an AK-47 and mows down 5 women, children, and elderly people in an effort to kill the resurrected form of Hans Gruber? Who can forget that? I can't. And clearly it's left an indelible mark on this man.
Nuclear.
Against Israelis. So I support Israel. I support Israel. I support Israel.
Next question.
You know, it's pretty telling that you're being asked about whether or not you support a genocide, and your response is, I support the country that's doing the genocide. It's pretty crazy.
Next question. How do you intend to ensure the accuracy of reporting on job and economic statistics?
I don't know what the situation was with the Department of Labor person. Neither do you. I don't know.
I just don't know. Couldn't be bothered to find out. I'm only a humble congressman.
I don't know. I can tell you, I've been an employer for a lot of years, and there's always two sides to every story.
You know, one of my employees said I sexually harassed her, and my side of the story was I just got a little bit friendly. You know, some people can't handle a little bit of friendliness. And I did fire her after I learned she was only 17 at the time. So that's the end of that story.
And I don't know what that side was. I will say this, though.
Hope the move went well. Echo PL2 Pride.
Postmodern Prometheus, the move did not go well. It went very poorly, but it's okay. It is done now.
What did was get the data out there. If all that, and I don't know that's the case, but if that's all they did, I would not have fired her. I mean, to be honest.
Oh, thanks. Thanks, but that wasn't what the question was about. The question was, how are we going to ensure the data coming out of our Bureau of Labor Statistics is actually good? Like, how do we do that if any data that is inconvenient to the administration results in someone being fired?
But I don't know, because things are complicated. It's easy to listen to a 30-second story on TV and think that you know all the details. I don't know all the details. But I'm sure we will be talking about that when I get back to Washington in September.
Next question from the audience, please.
Oh, that guy going, that's your job. That's your job. This man is cooked. We're 45 minutes in now. He's looking like a hunted animal. And that's my cue to say, hey, howdy. You guys are enjoying the stream, hit that like button. Leave a comment, subscribe. It's for you guys who are watching the VOD, not for the live viewers. Not these folks right here. It's for you. That's right, you. Like, comment, and subscribe. My editor tells me that this works, and so do you guys. So I'm doing it to the best of my ability. And also, if you are watching live, consider supporting the stream with subs, donos, memberships, super chats, etc., because you guys make this show possible. Could not do it without you fine folks. And this month in particular is a bit of a rough one for me, so if you guys can pitch in, very much appreciated. Quasi-Spec, thank you for the 1,000 biddies over on Twitch. Very much appreciated. The hair color's fire. When my studio's done and when I have had more time to prep a show, I'll do my makeup. It'll be good. Werix, thank you for being a member for 6 months over on YouTube. Let's go! Hopefully gerrymandering doesn't suppress the vote too much. My hope is that there's not going to be as much gerrymandering as Republicans are hoping for. We'll see. Someone subscribed and I overcame my amnesia. Wow, it's magic. And I regrew all my limbs. What happened to you, Jazz Dog? Howdy, hoi polloi. Good news is there's always a VOD.
Nuclear.
Next question from the audience.
We have a question right here.
Yes, first of all, I'd ask you please not to refer it to that monstrosity as the big beautiful bill.
It's the name of the bill, though.
We know better. We know better.
Guys, this job is hard. I have to know things. Mike, I've worked on child sexual assault, flood.
Jazz Dog, thank you for the $5 dono. But also, like, we know this lady has a whole ass aura. We know better. The ultimate Karen stage 2 has entered the building.
Question concerns veterans. Again, I asked you in March about cuts for veterans, cuts that will hurt veterans. I didn't really find your answer to the gentleman earlier adequate. How are cuts to the VA going to improve VA services? Also, what about the thousands of veterans who have lost their federal positions? And what about how that big ugly bill, let me finish. How about how that big ugly bill is going to disproportionately affect veterans who need SNAP and other benefits? Finally, what about the veterans who are seeing family members who have done no criminal...
Okay, I know we haven't really talked about this guy who's holding the microphone. Dude literally looks so red, it looks like he's been slapped. I don't think he's having a good time here either.
Nothing wrong being picked up by masked ICE agents.
Okay, so, first of all,
my question
to
is
your
this.
first point there,
When are
the
you
bill
gonna
is actually
stand
called
up?
the One Big Beautiful Bill, and I'm not going to tiptoe around what the answers are because that's the bill that passed. And when President Biden passed the Inflation Reduction Act, that's what we called it, even though it did the opposite. As it relates to the VA cuts, what specific cut are you talking about so I can understand? Give me a specific example.
It is specifically general cuts in the VA's overall budget. I want to know, when are you going to stand up to the bully in chief and his disrespectful, un-American, cruel cuts that hurt our veterans?
See, this issue came up in Columbus in May, and I went to the Veterans Secretary. And the system, when we're done, will be better for veterans, it will be more efficient, and we'll have better services. I am confident of that. You cannot cite a specific program because I went to him specifically and said, show me where these cuts are. We went through it, I've got the data.
Hey, maybe you make the services better before you make the cuts. And I'm just throwing that out there.
I've got the notes, I've got all the information I need, and I will be very public about showing you what is happening with veterans as soon as I get the opportunity to avail myself of my notes, but I am very confident. President Trump, this Congress, the Veterans Administration, we are working hard for veterans, and we will deliver for veterans. We are protecting veterans, we are protecting Medicaid, we are getting results, and we are pursuing growth. That is what's happening right now. Protection, results, and growth. Thank you.
Next question, Taylor. Next question, Taylor.
Sorry.
Congressman Flood, as the president of the UNL College Republicans, thank you for being here.
Boo! Boo! I knew this guy was shifty. Boo!
And these first 8 months of President Trump's has been a momentous occasion for young people looking for job opportunities, buying houses.
Let her ask her goddamn question. She didn't get an answer. She wants to ask it again.
And starting families. How are we going to continue the momentum that we've made for our next generation and keep the promise of the American dream?
Thanks for coming tonight. It's nice to
Also, that guy does not give off a single iota of straight energy.
have you here. You know, one of the challenges we have right now in America is that a lot of people his age want to own a home, and it's getting harder and harder and harder. And there's a variety of reasons that happens. Right? Number one, whose home insurance premium went up this year? Mine. Okay, we all did. What's driving that? Two things: weather peril and third-party litigation.
Weather peril. That sounds like something you might want to tackle via renewable energy initiatives. I don't know.
Party litigation. This is where a foreign government sovereign growth fund can come into a Georgia state court, hand a plaintiff's lawyer $1.5 million, and that plaintiff's lawyer suddenly has all the experts they ever needed. They game the system for a $20 million verdict, and they walk away with $10 million. That's what's happening in our property and casualty space right now. These aren't partisan issues. These are issues that we have to solve as Americans. Today, I toured a project here in Lincoln.
And look, we need to keep the coal power plants on if you want to have Siri talking to you on your phone, okay? How else are any of us going to be able to get through the day if Siri can't talk to us with a sexy woman voice? I'm so lonely.
Where NeighborWorks Lincoln is building 12 units. 12 units on space where only 3 could have been built before. And they're excited about the one big beautiful bill's affordable housing tax credits that get increased under the law, which are used by a lot of folks here in Lincoln. And by the way, your mayor and city council, they set a goal of 5,000 new units by 2030. They are halfway there, and this city will see more housing growth, more affordable housing growth, more market rate housing, and more affordable housing with a price point of $200,000 because of the resources that they're currently using. Thank you.
One more question.
We have a question right here.
God bless you, Congressman Flood, for doing this and what you endured. Congratulations on your nomination.
Is someone shouting she's a plant? Like, wait, I need one of you all to like verify.
That they're currently using. Thank you.
One more question.
We have a question right here.
God bless you, Congressman Flood, for doing this.
Plant! This is a plant!
This and what you endured. Congratulations on your nomination to the chair of the Main Street Caucus. Can you please tell us how this position will benefit Nebraskans?
Thank you very much for that question. So you might have read in the paper, I was recently unanimously elected by 83 members of the Republicans in the House to chair the Main Street Caucus, which is...
Is it true that you have a ginormous penis? And could you tell us how big you think it might be? If it will help, I'll demonstrate. Oh my. Oh, you're not stopping me. Oh my god. Oh my god. That's how big it must be.
A group of people that meet weekly, sometimes a couple times a week, to talk about where we want to go in the House of Representatives. And we believe in passing a budget. We believe in appropriators appropriating money. We believe in medical research. We believe in ag research. We believe in science research. I want you to know that. We also believe in a balanced budget. We believe in a strong, secure border. We believe in protecting Medicaid.
Honestly, every time he says the word Medicaid, I feel the blood pressure in that room notch up by like another 10 points. If he keeps saying it, someone's gonna die. Like their blood vessels are just gonna burst.
Getting results and growing our country. And so with this new role that I have, I will have an opportunity more often to interact with the White House, with the cabinet secretaries, to interact with my Democratic colleagues that are in leadership, to deliver for the people of Nebraska and specifically the 1st District. I appreciate the question. I'm honored to do it, and I hope it results in results for all of you, and we can move this country forward. Thank you.
Okay, next question is from this.
Oh, okay.
Representative Flood, I was born and raised here, and I'm a full-time student at UNL. So the recent $20 million in cuts due to declining federal and state funding is deeply concerning to me. With ongoing efforts from Trump administration to dismantle the Department of Education and reduce support who will protect and grow funding for Nebraska's public universities.
Riverboat Jack is coming to town. All the viewers gather round. Twitch and YouTube is where she streams. All that content is bursting the seams. Politics, gaming, plenty more. Her sense of fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's Discord. Riverboat Jack.